All right. Welcome to Wednesday night.
Wow. Boys are back in town.
That's right. If we ain't doing it, nobody's doing it. Let me tell you.
Got some new equipment. Things sound, at least on our end, it sounds
we're
incredible.
getting there. We are just, we're not professionals. We were getting closer. If Mav lived closer, we would probably be all right.
Yeah, true.
Mav's the man.
I got him on speed dial. Matter of fact, he's on. So I got him on speed dial, and thank God he answers.
Hey, Mav, thank you so much, man. Mav's awesome.
Hopefully we sound a hell of a lot better than we did last week.
Yeah, we're getting there. We're gonna update some more equipment, microphones, and the whole shebang. But
we may be on the casting couch next week, right?
We should be
looking forward to it.
We should be, but we are currently live in YouTube and Facebook. So if you can't get us on Facebook, get us on YouTube. Watercraft Network's YouTube page. We are there.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Multiple platforms.
Yeah, we're gonna actually step it up and go for another one. So
streaming.
Hey, we've had a couple winners this week for the Versi plugs, right?
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah,
dude, they're killing it.
Yeah, that's right. And we have to look, that the wrench with the nuts.
Whoa. That's funny one.
These nuts.
Yeah, that's a funny one.
Yeah, that one. The Alatoona people had fun with that. Shout out to Alatoona PWC Tribe. We'll pick a winner on that. And
pick that next week?
Yeah, and huge shout out.
Whoa, easy over there.
Whoa, sorry.
Yeah, tighten the nuts up there.
As soon as he started talking enough.
No, he's trying to lean up against the microphone. I think is part of the problem.
Street,
so
smoking, and
oh god,
sipping on gin and juice. We were doing a little mic check earlier. I got into the routine.
A little bit of thug life.
If we're gonna do that, we're gonna do a Wednesday night shout out to Grand National.
Grand National.
Grand National. Oh, he's so funny. Did you see his picture last night about the beer? He's like depressed that he hasn't been able to have a beer.
Oh yeah.
In a bar, and he's like, this is the longest I've been since I was 21. And
the funny part is where he's trying to drink a Heineken and ride the big wheel.
That was
and he was
hysterical.
getting exhausted.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
That was absolutely
because Scuddy's getting fat. That's why.
That was funnier than hell.
It was so funny. So welcome back, Watercraft Network Wednesday, man.
Dude, I think we're gonna have to turn the lights down a little bit. Like,
hey, you know.
Yeah, no shit. You got a haircut.
My receiving line is kind of getting how do I look better now?
You got a haircut and you're bald.
That's
yeah,
right.
That's a self-quarantine haircut, dude. Let me tell you, that's not cool.
You need the Liquid Molly hat. Rocking the Liquid Molly hat.
Yeah.
And the bomber shades, man. Those, these lights we have are so bright. You got to have the bomber shades. But hey,
we could take it down and mood it a little bit if you want.
Oh, some mood lighting.
Yeah.
Hey,
I'm going to definitely need social distancing from you too.
My conversion van had mood lighting that you could dim from a switch in the front or the back.
You had a conversion van?
Oh,
it was the rape
awesome.
van.
Boy.
That was the nickname of it.
Come on, guys. Come get some candy.
Every time he went to P-Town, he brought the conversion van.
It was so funny. I'll never forget when the Mandelac brothers took they made out of emblems. They took from a Cutlass they took ass, and from a Toyota they took toy, and they stuck ass toy on the back of the van, on the back of the conversion van for like a month. I didn't know it was there until my wife said to me, she goes, "What the hell is that?"
Mav says our sound and stuff is really good. He said pretty soon we'll need makeup.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna need a lot. We're gonna need a lot of that now.
I should have wore a freaking hat, bro. What the?
That shit's glowing.
Gonna need a lot of makeup. Hey, we wanted to make sure, it's Watercraft Network Wednesday, but it's also Nurses Day today. And with all of
oh, I love nurses.
Yeah, and with
cheers to our nurses.
Yep, with the pandemic and all that nurses do, within healthcare. Shout out to all the nurses out there. Much love.
I love the scrubs.
And the other thing we wanted, to all the moms out there, every mom, happy upcoming Mother's Day.
Oh, that's right.
Weekend.
That's Sunday.
Yeah, happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there, and hope you have a nice weekend.
Hopefully it's gonna be sunny and decent, I guess.
Not where we are, but somewhere it will be.
Somewhere over the rainbow.
Right. So we got some really good upcoming shows. We got a little bit of a change. I don't know. We're gonna,
there's a lot of changing coming.
Yeah, change. Remember the Brady Bunch back in the day, Jody, when Peter Brady's voice changed when it's time to change? Remember? Dating myself, going way back.
That's not that bad,
Put me in the Wayback Machine, Sherman. But
Marcia. Marsha. All right.
So
We're regressing. Go ahead. Continue.
We got a lot of projects going on here, anyways. Too. We got we got all kinds of shit going on here.
And we got a lot of stuff, with our event Jet Fest August 29th. We just got.
Oh yeah, if you don't show up,
we got the runner-up ski.
Damn.
This past weekend, nice donation, to Jet Fest. We got that thing at a Song of a Day. It's so nice, when people who go to the event, are like, hey, I want to donate to this event. Got a couple more boats coming in. We won't count our chickens before they're hatched, but
I like chickens. Barbecue sauce.
Man, can't thank all the people that the locals that just really are just so generous.
This guy had been to Jet Fest how many times?
A whole bunch of times.
A bunch
of times. It's just awesome that
we're getting number 3 prize.
Yeah, and possibly
Sunday.
Possibly number 4. So I think we're gonna we'll have quite a few vessels to give away at Jet Fest on August 29th. If you haven't yet found it, you can find the social media page, all one word, Jet Fest, JETFEST, August 29th, and
we're not going to announce the main.
Nah. Let's wait. Let's wait until we have her in our possession. We'll really drop that.
Throw some wows out there.
But hey, also quick thank you last week, the Ripper, Larry Rippenkroger.
Oh, dude, what a conversation!
Hot Water, the movie.
Yo, if you haven't seen the movie,
gotta get it.
Including myself. Man, I've been so busy fishing.
Yeah, I'm gonna stream it when it's available on Amazon or Netflix or
coming. It's coming.
Yeah, it'll be coming out, and we'll get you that information when Larry makes it available. They're working with a whole host of platforms now, so we're really grateful to Larry for coming on. We got a great guest next week. Sam Nemi Broward coming out with some performance parts. Broward Motorsports synonymous with performance.
Big time.
And he was part of Hot Water.
Yeah. Sam, part of Hot Water, the movie. And the cool thing about Broward is, they're taking a lot of the parts that they use through their own R&D, purpose built for racing, and applying those winning formulas to
parts you can buy for your own
machines. So anyone who knows anything about the competition segment of the community, Broward is no slouch, and really, really exciting that they're embarking on their own products line. A lot of what they've done for years has kind of been, for their team only, and they've obviously won so many championships throughout the years. Their parts perform, so it's really nice that people will be able to get their hands on those general public. So,
well, they got their own tunes. I mean, they got their own tunes for everything.
Oh yeah, no.
Cowie, Sea-Doo, Yamaha.
They don't play. They do not play.
If you want a tune, those guys are going to be the boys to talk to.
Yeah, those guys. They got a whole bunch of parts coming out, so it'll be really nice to talk to them. So as we said, we kind of had to do a quick switch up tonight. We got a great guest coming on. We got AJ Handler from Pro Watercross is going to join us, and we're really excited to talk to AJ because with everything going on and so much going on in the industry and the community and, events not being able to be hosted and restrictions and,
rescheduled. It's just,
who better to talk to than the sanctioning body that sanctions, the largest event in North America, the Daytona Freeride, along with, the premier personal watercraft racing events here in North America, which will be seen once again this year on CBS Sports, So, it's really, we're really excited to talk to AJ and find out what's going on at Pro Watercross. And so you want to roll? Should we get him on the phone, or we got anything else to go over, or should we just sit here?
What else do we got? Let me think.
Let's send out a little bit of love to our friends at Watercraft Superstore, SBT. You need anything? You're sitting home.
Yeah, if you're bored, right? Order it up.
Get yourself some Jet Renew. Go out and play Danielson on your machine.
Danielson. Do I have a commercial here?
I hope you have a commercial.
Well, I've been a little busy.
Load one up.
Dealing with
load one up.
I don't even know if I
being an IT guy this time of year.
Yeah,
the tech man.
I got really nothing else to do, so you think I'd be all set and situated? But at the current moment,
he's making tech sexy again.
Oh, you know what I could say? So out, I was kayaking a lot last couple of days, right? So in Schoharie County, they had a couple. Middlebrook Fire Department had a couple calls. Kayakers not wearing PFDs in this cold ass water.
Big problem, man. Big
and got stuck. One of them was after 9 o'clock at night, and luckily everybody survived and made it. But like, what are you thinking when you're out in the cold water? I don't even want to touch the freaking cold water.
Man, it's a problem, not just within that segment of the community, but, stand-up paddle boards, a whole host of these, non-motorized sports, and even boating this time of year. When you talk pleasure boaters, boaters putting their boats in the water first time, going out, a lot of people don't have life jackets. And like you said, Mel, you go in water this cold this time of year here in the Northeast, you're talking water that's not even 50
Dude, I got my hands in it grabbing fish and or weeds off the lures and stuff, and there's no way I would want to fall in the water.
Did you see that post that Ron Brock put up from the Safety Initiative?
I didn't see that.
With the stand-up paddleboarder. You said the stand-up paddleboarder.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Oh my God, it was a stinking hammerhead shark swimming next to the paddleboarder.
Oh wow,
that thing was insane. The thing was huge.
Yeah, I didn't get much time.
Yeah, there ain't none of that up here. So
no.
No, but you got to be careful. It's we're coming into the ride season, and everybody's itching to get out. That cabin fever, and man, you just gotta remember safety. Man.
It's not very hard, man. Put your damn vest on. Stop being the tough guy. And
exactly.
Hey, you got your commercial queued up?
Yeah, I'm ready to rock.
All right,
your commercial.
We'll be right back with AJ from Pro Watercross.
Yeah, we can do that. That was a little Lick of Molly commercial.
We're back, and hey, 2 weeks in a row we got the heavy hitters. Man, we're batting 1,000 here, huh?
AJ Handler from Pro Watercross.
AJ, huh?
AJ, how you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm doing good. Hello, everyone.
Thanks so much for joining us, AJ.
So you want to give us a rundown, AJ, on what the state of Pro Watercross is right now?
Yeah. So where to you don't even know where to start because this whole thing turned everyone's world upside down.
Right.
So I took a little bit of we have been looking at this a little bit different than most people than most organizers, I should say, and that's mainly because if you saw Snowcross. They finished their season. They didn't even get to their national championship.
Right.
They were 2 rounds from their national championship.
Right.
and the plug got pulled on that. So yeah, so it made us a little bit nervous. So rather than us chasing the dates, what we decided to do is that we're going to let everyone know it is officially right now. We are going racing in Panama City Beach at Sharky's on the 13th.
Of June.
Of June, yes.
Yeah.
So so we are moving forward on there. Today we found out that we're going to be moving forward on this. So
Excellent. That's good
so
news.
yeah, I mean, there was a lot of planning and preparation going into this because if you saw that we switched the dates like 3 times on that.
Right.
And every time we picked a date, we would have to go to a backup date and say, okay, if it doesn't happen then, we go to this date. And it happened 3 times like that, and that's the plan with the other cities too as well.
So AJ, when you say you had to go to a backup, so what happened? You went to Panama City and they're like, yeah, that date's good, and then a day later or a week later they said, oh, we have to change it.
Yes, that's exactly what happened. They said, hey, we're not going to be open by then. And they're all talking to their, the local health departments and their state governments,
right,
and they're making their decisions based on that. And so now that most of the beaches are open and they're full on, there may be some social distancing that we may have to do. It may be that you may have to have the next competitor may need to be 6 feet back or 6 feet to the right or left, so that we're looking at that they may impose something like that on us.
Yeah, and that's probably gonna, the municipality or the specific, geographical region, may dictate a lot of that, AJ. But it's just nice to hear, somewhat of a return to normalcy in terms of pro watercross, even though it's going to be, not the normalcy that you're used to. But it's nice, and the other nice thing is, I would think, based upon that storm that came into Panama City Beach, wasn't it? Was it last year or the year before?
It was the year before.
Well, they have to be ripe, especially now. They must need that economic shot in the arm. As most businesses and and for that matter, most townships and cities. Even where you are, you're probably hearing the same thing locally that we're hearing. We're cities in and around us, are looking at, fiscal deficits of millions and millions of dollars. So,
absolutely. One of the things that Panama City was very flexible on their dates. And every part of the country, every region is going to be very different. Give you an instance of South Padre Island. If we would have gone any further into June, we were afraid that we were going to hit that heat that they got last year when we were done.
Right.
They had 130 degrees, and the boardwalk that people were walk on in the beach, they were blistering their feet, literally blistering their feet, and they had to call the medics to get people off the beach.
Yeah.
So looking at the economic of that particular island, as some of you may or may not be aware, there's the way the CVBs get their money is it's paid on a tax, and going into South Padre Island this year, we actually had a conversation and said, hey, we can have the event, but we're not going to be able to. We're not going to be able to do anything.
Right.
And so it didn't make sense for us to strain them and to put a strain on us too as well.
Right.
So it was a collective decision that said, we're not going to come there this year, but we're going to be there for the next 3 years.
Yeah, and those are decisions, based upon, something that hasn't happened in literally just over a century, AJ. You're going to have to make choices like that, kind of on the fly. Are you going to be able to go here? Are you going to be able to go there? And the dates are obviously going to change based upon, variables associated with this, global pandemic we're having. But, in terms of operating the business, or Pro Watercross, as an entity, what other, things have impacted how you normally conduct business?
Well, the insurance too as well. The insurance agency had to give back probably somewhere around $750,000 back to not only, and I'm not talking about the watercraft industry because they also insure other motorsports. And the guy called me up and he says, "Hey, we're not going to be able to do anything, renew the policy this year right away." And so it made me a little bit nervous, but we are. But he was like, "I have to file. I have 2 employees. I'm returning all the money. There's no sense of revenue in for us, so we're going on. We're going to go on unemployment." And I'm like,
Wow.
"Holy cow! Did that really affect those guys too? It's something that you don't really think about."
Yeah, that's a really good point, and with so very few underwriters that write policies for motorsports events, that makes perfect sense, because that particular agent is probably insuring a lot of dirt bike events and open wheel, what I mean,
Yep.
dirt
Oh,
tracks, you know what I mean?
absolutely.
So
I mean,
who you wouldn't think about something like that. So how
no. So
yeah, I
go
didn't mean
ahead.
to I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was just so how does that impact pro watercross moving forward? I mean, because don't you buy a policy for a year, right?
Yep.
And you base that upon, I would assume, the a projected volume of events and participants, and so that has to have some type of an impact moving.
So most of the organizers that are under pro watercross are going to be moving. Such as yourself with your event.
Yeah.
They're going to be moving forward. Is there going to be a penalty if there's a lesser amount? They may be. I'm not sure. We haven't finished negotiating our policy yet. So I'm confident that we will have more than enough events that we won't be penalized because, quite frankly, this is nobody's fault. I mean, this is not.
Right.
This is not an organizer's fault. This is not insurance fault.
Right.
This is something that happened worldwide.
Right.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
and I would assume, based upon, the pro watercross 25 years plus track record, that you have that, the ability with the insurance, agent to say exactly that, buddy, hey, I mean,
Yeah. So what this has allowed us to do is to start working on a 2021 schedule, which gave us a little bit more. It gave me a little bit more time to really think about things.
right.
I was gonna say you
moving
never have
forward.
enough time in the day.
Yeah, it's probably
Yeah.
probably a blessing in disguise, that you can kind of start laying the groundwork for next year.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it didn't. The other thing too is it did not affect our contract with CBS either.
Oh yeah, that's true. I forgot about that.
All four, it did affect them too as well. If you really think
Oh, yeah.
about it, they have no content to put on their network.
Oh, no, rerun.
Yeah, they're playing old stuff on there.
and honestly, AJ, a lot of what they're playing, whether you look at all of those 24-hour sports stations, a lot of what they're playing is stuff that is so obscure. I mean, you're talking more obscure than like lawn tractor racing. They are literally struggling for content, and we have to give you a shout out, because quite honestly, we said it when it was announced at World Championships in Naples, shortly thereafter. Personal watercraft racing hasn't been on television since ESPN and the Bud Tour, in the late 1990s, and it's so nice to have to really see personal watercraft competition events, on primetime television on a network specifically geared towards sports. So how you guys pulled that one off, absolutely amazing. And we just wanted to say, just great work for being able to do that.
Well, thank you. It was a lot of work negotiating with them and trying to convince them that watercross is a good product. Which it is. Then we've been on the world. They televised our world championship, and then finally we sat down with them and said, "Hey, what can we do for the series?" And he liked the product so much that he says, "Hey, you know what? Let's do this." So 2 weeks after each event, this thing will be on Saturdays. They didn't give me a specific time zone because originally, what the time zone that I had asked for was between 9 and 12.
Right.
And so what he turned around and said to me is, he goes, "I'm going to do one better for you. Between 9 and 9 p.m., you're going to be on there. I will get you the times," which is fantastic.
Right. Yeah. It's
Which
prime
I'm really
time.
I'm really hoping for 8 o'clock on Saturday evening.
Right.
Watching our own events.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, and I'm sure they'll try and do something like that. It's going to be so, it's even with, you look at that when, a company like that when, they're able to, get more product. I'm sure they're going to struggle just like everyone else to revamp their operation up. So, it may end up being 10, 11 o'clock at night initially, but I bet you they'll get a good time spot because, quite honestly, when all the editing is said and done and they put that program together like the one for World Championships, they do a nice job. CBS really does a nice job of I mean, that to me and to us, is a great representation of the community, as you well know, because I know, you're a personal watercraft news junkie like we are, and you get a lot of you get more than we do. In terms of the bulletins, AJ, and you see the negative press that this community gets over and over and over again. Here we are. Go ahead.
And not to interrupt you, but that's something that some of the community gets right now, and some of the other community doesn't.
Yeah.
If we all work together, can you imagine what this sport would be like?
Honestly, I think could be as popular as Supercross. Like, I'm pretty sure
everybody would have to be on the same page.
Oh yeah, of course.
And the backstabbing and all the other crap that goes on has to stop.
Well, and it's funny, and because you don't want to talk to about other entities and but
absolutely not. And my whole point to this was, look, if we all work together, the sport would be so much more than what it is right now. And we're doing that. We are, Pro Watercross does a hell of a job.
Yeah, you do
producing the events.
Oh, AJ, your staff is I mean, your staff is amazing. And when I was talking about other entities, I mean, it's so funny how there's nobody in North America that receives the type of monetary support and has the type of commercial viability, the market presence that Pro Watercross does. And the community still supports other entities that, and it makes no sense to me. Why don't you, if you love the sport that much and you're that passionate about it and you want to see growth and you want to see it continue to prosper and have long-term sustainability, I just don't see why they're riding the wheels off of other. But that's just my.
But it is what it is.
I can tell you, some of the pro riders, their commitment to both organizations, I think that's great. One's going to stand there. I don't want to mention his name, but this guy, he loves the other organization and he loves ours. He just loves racing. Period.
There you go.
And if we had more people like that, I think that I think it would be great. Because from our end, and you've known me for a long time. I hold no animosity for anyone.
No, and I think you like a lot of us, have there's a special connection to 25 years ago, when you were first introduced, and you don't want to see anything, there's a lot of sentimental value. And but I think being a realist and looking at things realistically from a longevity and sustainability perspective. I mean, you don't have to, you don't need a Venn diagram. I mean, people should use common sense, but again, we're just excited that there's some type of normalcy returning, and we know it's a ton of work that you guys are, you're like, I hate to use because everybody hates him. Tom Brady. You have to audible at the line. You got to change the. All right, we'll say Peyton Manning. You got to you wake up in the morning and you're like, okay, what play am I changing today? Who's gonna throw me a throw me a curveball here because
Go Eli.
Because there's so much developing and changing with this pandemic. So, hats off to you and Jen for all the work you've done, just being able to establish a 2020 tour. And you must be getting a lot of excitement from the community, AJ, because I don't think there's...
we are getting a lot. We're going to get a lot of West Coast guys coming to the 4 rounds that we have.
Yeah.
And, just to let everyone know that there's 4 rounds. If we lose one, this basically is going to turn into a triple crown.
Right.
But we are going to finish the season. If the government says shut it down, and we don't have a national championship, we're going to crown them in Wisconsin. And if we get shut down at those 2, it's going to be a 2-round series. So Either way, there's going to be racing. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. I can tell you that my staff is eager to get back. The race director, Robert Sands, and Paul Lear.
Yeah,
they both are super excited to get back on the water and go racing. I mean, I get texts from those guys every once in a while saying, "Hey, when are we going back racing?"
And that's interesting because because there's got to be a lot of excitement because there isn't a lot else, a lot of other options for people, AJ. So I would think a lot of the really, you hate to use the word premier racer because all of them, invest so much. And I know that you guys, whether it's a novice or a pro, they're as important to you as one another. Each is as important as the other. But there's got to be a lot of people that are saying, hey, a 3 or 4 round series, I can do that.
And that's exactly what's happening right now.
Yeah.
There's guys that are just super excited. It's a 4. Hey, I can do the 4 rounds.
Right.
Not a problem.
Right.
I'm going to be there. And what's happening now is from having a conversation with one of the other athletes, he was like, AJ, I'm getting a little older. I'm afraid of the competition that's coming up. These younger kids. And I'm like, and he goes, I want more rounds.
And it's so funny because, that was kind of, that to a degree, through you're seeing it happen, at pro watercross with almost like a changing of the guard. You see these young kids, and even you take like a Jules Hopkins, AJ, young guy who's really come into his own. And then there's the next generation of, the Revan Harris and Sammy Niemi and Devin Farthing and the Skellett kids. And
you want to hear the cool part?
Yeah.
We are in our 3rd generation of racers. Racers that have been racing with us for that long, and they bring their kids. And the cool thing about that whole thing is they'll turn around and they'll say, you know something? I used to get mad at you, but I'm so glad you're still doing this for my son.
That's it. Yeah. And what's really funny to us, AJ, is the young generation, the young kids, they're very friendly.
Yep.
It's amazing with these social media platforms that they have. With Snapchat and all this other TikTok and all this stuff that is foreign to me. All these kids, it's funny. My daughter was telling me a story where it was young Sammy Niemi, Devin Farthing, and Revan Harris were making fun of Jules Hopkins because of the color of his. He picked up a square nose Superjet to surf ride, and he painted it the same, that red orange of his Commander GP1, and they were busting on him on social media, asking him if McDonald's is his new sponsor. These are the young. It's just like a totally different vibe than it was back in the '90s. And all of these kids get to connect through your program, and they've established friendships and off the course, which didn't happen in our day in the '90s. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's
That's so true.
it really is so much different, and it's really a nice thing to see where, a lot of those kids will race as hard as they can, and then, they're able to communicate with one another and maintain friendships and relationships outside of racing. And I think, that's really what a lot of it is about. A lot of
You
us.
remember when we met Dustin Farthing
Yeah, that was
out
at
in Rochester?
AJ's race. Yeah.
And it was just that animosity, and then all of a sudden it's like, listen, you two got to stop.
Yeah, that's right.
You're going to talk to him. You're going to talk to him.
But it's a totally different generation now. These kids all get along, and I mean, it's amazing. And they have Pro Watercross to thank for that, AJ. And I mean, look, you guys bring a great product. You said it earlier. You have a great staff, and you're able to get some really, really great venues. I mean, like we mentioned earlier, Panama City. The next one, Hartwell, Georgia. Man, I mean, that spot. I've had people personally tell me, that have raced the Pro Watercross Tour for years, saying to me, "Hey,
place is amazing.
You got to get your daughter to Hartwell. Hartwell is where you want it." I mean, that for whatever particular reason, I've never been there, but that really is a venue that's loved by your racers.
It is the coolest thing. The most boats I've ever counted were 146 around the whole track.
Wow. You're talking spectator boats.
I'm talking about spectator boats.
Wow, that's amazing.
That was kind of funny because that was one of the first things that the city officials were talking about was, and the guy's counting the boats. I'm like, what are you doing? He goes, I'm counting the boats. And he turns around and goes, you should be counting the boats. There's 4.5 people in those boats. That's a lot of spectators.
You see it cha-ching, cha-ching, I mean, and
Exactly.
that's what they want to see. I mean, that's what's important to these municipalities, that they want to bring people, to those events. And that's the thing that's really, still to this day, what makes personal watercraft racing so pure is, you can go to any of your events, even the World Championships in Naples, and you can walk right up to a Dustin Farthing with his kid.
Mm-hmm.
You can't try to get near, like Eli Tomac on Monster Energy Supercross, or Elias Issue on Snowcross. You can't even get in the pit areas, and I mean
the only thing that's even remotely close is NHRA.
Right.
That's the only thing that's even close.
Yep, and I mean, that's for Pro Watercross to be in that company. That's pretty good company. I mean, it's just not. It's that's what makes part of what makes the program so amazing. And so Hartwell, the Belly Buster's still a go there too, right?
I was just going to say it is. That's what I was just going to talk about too. It's some of our guys are looking forward to seeing those guys too. It was it was a really strange and different concept, but it actually worked out really, really well.
Well, and it's funny because, now I've noticed, after the Belly Buster, the Carolina Watercraft Club, they were really the brains behind that. And again, hats off to you and Jen, who didn't even bat an eye at it and said, screw it, let's try it. And it worked out so well that now I've noticed there are other entities, partnering with some other race series to do a similar type of program. So, it's Pro Watercross and Carolina Watercraft Club who kind of, broke that barrier there and kind of married the two together. And all we heard, we had young Kenny Compton on after it, and you know how funny Kenny is. He's like, guys, you should have been there. I ate so many ribs. What I mean? He's like, he goes, people were lending me money to buy a raffle ticket. I mean, he had such a good time, and that's really, again, the progression of the product. You don't get enough credit, and we've said it for years. With stand-up paddleboarding and flyboarding, and Pro Watercross diversifying and not doing the same old thing for 20 years and expecting different results, AJ. I think it's brilliant, and we're hoping that we're able to get to Hartwell with all of this social distancing and all of the restrictions we have here, and work and all that stuff. But that's just one of those that we really
you
want
know,
to get to.
it comes down very simply. I just love racing. I dude, I do. I love being in the water, and just as much as the racers like to go out there and race, I enjoy when I get a chance and I watch the pros out there, because that's during the event. That's the only time I really have time to really soak it in,
Yeah.
and to watch these guys out there in race. I mean, I will take the good with the bad, because sometimes you'll get disgruntled
Yeah, of course. Of course.
disgruntled ones, and I know it's just I know it's going to pass. I know that it's just the heat of the moment, but
Right.
dude, I love racing. I love watching these guys race, and whether it's with a watercraft, or or it's hydroflight, or paddle boarding, or the jet surf. I love racing.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys. It's kind of funny. Those guys reached out to us too as well. They want to be back.
The jet surf guys?
Oh, in the worst way. They want to be back.
That was I mean, I could tell you off the, but that was pretty damn cool. I thought, those people can ride those things. I mean, that's a I mean, riding a stand up is hard, but riding one of those things the way those jet surf people do, AJ, they're talented athletes. I mean,
oh, they are.
I mean, 35 miles an hour, and they're railing it into turns. I mean, I don't think I could stand up on one of those things for more than, 100 feet. I'd yard sail. I mean, there's no question.
You yard sail on a blaster.
Yeah, it's a valid point. It's a valid point. And speaking of blasters, I remember you leg dragging a blaster back in the day, AJ.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember way back. It was like 90, 95, 96, somewhere in that period.
Yeah, I'd love the blaster. I couldn't get the HX guys though. I didn't understand that passion.
A lot of people don't know this story, AJ, but it was I think it was 2008 when the McKenna brothers convinced you, hey, we have this new class that we want to do. It's called Sport Spec. And really, the litmus test for that was Blaster Limited at Lake Anna, Virginia.
Yep.
And I think it was in 2008, and we we're really friendly with Joey and Scotty and that whole group of guys. And
dude, I remember that you brought 8 of them.
Yeah, we brought a spare blaster down, and we see AJ there, and he's like, "Hey, how many blasters you guys have?" And we're like, "We got quite a few of them, dude." And he goes, "You got a spare?" And we're like, "Yeah." He jumps in on the and it's I just what I really love about that is. That's what made Sports Spec, that race, to Scotty's credit, Scotty McKenna, back before social media, was all over the message board saying, hey, we're bringing back Blaster Limited. If you have a limited blaster, come down, and he had fielded a pretty good size. He proved that it could be done, AJ.
Yep, it could, and he did it,
And and again, you guys gave him that ability, and look, that's one of the biggest classes now, and
Yep.
If not for having, for you guys being open-minded and saying, you know what, we'll try it if you want to do, well, and look, here it is now. I mean, it's such a popular class because it is so cost-effective.
Yeah, and it really comes down to a couple of things. Number one, I love racing. Number two, I do listen to people. Sometimes I can't, and we do take their suggestions. And it comes down to customer service. We try to give people as much customer service as we can. Sometimes we're put in a position that we can't provide the most excellent customer service, but for the most part, that's what me and my wife really preach to. Me and Jennifer preach to our staff is, you lose one racer, okay, that can have a ripple effect.
Right.
We got to win all these hearts and minds and maintain them.
Where it's hard for you guys is it's just it's equivalent to like Major League Baseball or NBA basketball or the NFL. Every athlete isn't going to be happy with every call. You know what I mean?
No.
And in the heat of competition, even if it's the right call, You know, if it's an odd about, you're not going to convince.
No.
There's
way.
no way that you're going to convince a guy like Julian Edelman or, you know, that he was out of. He wasn't out of. I mean, and I equate. You know, the best.
I got a great example. You. We made a call on you. It took you what, 10 years to talk to me again?
Everybody's a little hard-headed. You know, I'm like,
yeah, he's something.
I'm like,
hey Jody, this guy was mad at me for over 10 years, and I didn't even know it.
That doesn't
And
surprise
then he
me.
tells me, he goes, "I'm mad at you," and I'm like, "What did I do? Oh my God, you know."
I probably didn't even remember at that time. But you know, it's true, AJ. You know, it's if you look at like LeBron James. LeBron James has never committed a foul. You know, the ref calls a foul on LeBron, and he acts like he's surprised. You know, I mean, and you know, yeah, exactly. Seriously, it's the same thing with racing. You're never, you know, I think.
What were you mad at him about?
You know, and the funny thing is, I don't even remember. It was something to do with some.
You were pissed off for a decade, and you don't remember.
I don't even remember. It was.
And he thought I was mad at him the whole time.
Yeah, I did.
Wow.
This is like probably 10, 12 years ago now.
Bitch.
10 or 12. I talked to him. I'm like, hey, dude, you know, are we going to bury the hatchet? He's like, what hatchet are you talking about? I'm like, I don't even know what it was. You know what I mean? It was some bullshit that, you know, it doesn't even matter. You know what I mean? But that's what happens, you know, with competition. You know, people get, you know,
their panties in a wad.
Yeah, and it just gets blown out of proportion, and you know, at the end of the day, it's just a race, and you know, you're out there.
It really is, and you know, these guys are going to make some calls, and they're going to do the best as they can because they're not, you know, it's all about customer service, making sure that we do, and sometimes we have to make a decision right there on the spot. But when we can when we're able to do the research, we want to have it right on.
Of course you do.
Yeah.
And that's you know the example at the World Championships. You know, the first year, it took us literally almost 3 months to make a decision, maybe longer. Okay, but we did our due diligence, and you know we got all the evidence that we needed, and we presented it to the guys and said, this is what we got. This is what happened.
Well, that's one of the best things too, is you got everything video now.
Yeah.
So you literally can go back and see what's going on.
Yeah. So the same thing happened this year, but it was a little bit different. But you know, I love every one of these guys. I really do. You know, because I love watching them racing. You know, some of these guys have been racing with me since back in the 90s. You know,
the people that race your tour are really, really good riders, AJ. Really good.
Yep.
And you know them personally. So it's And again, you've been doing this for 25 years. It's not like you set out, you wake up that morning, you know, you have a cup of coffee and you say, I want to make the wrong call today. You know what I mean? I mean, seriously.
I can tell you one of my, because that's what I always preach. One of my officials sent me a text. I want to get back into racing. I want to call a red flag.
But it's true, you know. I mean, and I think, you know, in the heat of the moment, you know, a lot of people, you know, lose that perspective, me included. You know, you get pissed off about something, and you know, you just can't forget about it, and
tell me about it.
No, it's just, it's a flaw, you know. I mean, none of us are perfect, but I think you guys do a great job, AJ. Seriously.
Well, thanks.
No,
well, we try really hard, and that's
all you can do is do your best. I mean,
we want to give them fair racing because we want them to come back. We want them to feel that we're providing the best possible service for them. Period. And,
well, hopefully, with this COVID gets over, we can start watching some friggin' racing.
Yeah. So the only thing that's been happened during this COVID, and maybe it's a blessing under disguise, and you're somewhat aware of it too, because I had some health issues. So I was able to take care of some of those health issues that I had.
Good.
During this time. So
well, that's one of the things that you don't do is take care of you don't take care of yourself. When race season's on, you never ever take care of yourself. Ever.
I just keep going.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. I just you don't stop, which is fine. I mean, but you are getting a little older, so
Thanks.
You got to breathe.
Well, hey, it's good that you had an opportunity, with not being able to do anything to address some of those things, and we're glad that you're doing well. And,
Yeah. Family, everybody,
really, and before we I don't want to forget to ask you, I know it's completely pandemic related, but what's near and dear to Watercraft Network's heart, and I know it's as well with Pro Watercross. The Sean Compton initiative moving forward, is that something that you're going to try, or that you're
We're going to do it next year. It's not a matter of trying. We're going to do it.
good? Good.
Sean Compton was a dear friend of mine.
No, I know.
And he was not only a friend, but he was an organizer. And we are a nonprofit now,
Yep.
and we want to move forward with some of the things that we want to do, and unfortunately we couldn't do it. I felt like we disappointed some people, with the training, but they understood,
AJ, based upon the global conditions, it's completely understandable. The only reason I ask is because like you, we really, really had a, Sean was a friend of the show. He was a personal friend of ours. We thought so very highly of him. Kenny literally this past weekend put up a post of 18. Of them driving down the streets of Panama and in the side by side, and I heard his voice, and I just,
Wow.
and it was, you choking back tears. It's and I just, it's important to us that people know that that's what Pro Watercross is going to do, to honor Sean's legacy moving forward, and obviously anything that we can do,
everything that we said we were going to do, we're going to do it. Unfortunately, we just couldn't.
Totally understandable.
And the same thing with the awards that we passed out last year. We're still going to continue that with this year. So
wow,
that's awesome. That's such a great.
The award
idea.
ceremony was it was awesome.
But
man.
it was such a great idea because you recognize, in recognizing, wave days. I mean,
the awards were cool.
Yeah.
They're putting them together down there. Like those guys worked. His crew worked like.
Oh, this past year's awards, those things
in Naples.
Those things were
dude. They
charts.
worked OT seriously to get those trophies done.
No,
they were awesome.
Those trophies this year, they're all CNC machine cut. I mean, they were just out of this world. The awards that were given away in Naples.
If I was fast, I would have taken one and ran.
Too
Probably
funny.
would have got shot at the door though.
Well, hey AJ, we appreciate so much. You pulling a Tom Brady or a Peyton Manning again and audibling to join us tonight. It was really, really nice of you, and it was good to talk to you. We're glad to hear that you're doing well, and
definitely,
you got some time to not that you got some time, you were required
to take
some time to do some stuff personally, and we thank you for all that you put in. Like you said, it's clear that.
You guys don't have to thank me.
No, but you and your,
I love racing.
Look,
I love racing, dude.
Yeah, but you and your wife do a lot of thankless stuff, and the way that you invest back into the community. I think it would be, if Pro Watercross wasn't around, it would be an entirely different community, and there'd be a lot of things a lot of organizations and events would be a lot worse off. So can't thank you guys enough for what you do, and we're hoping to see you soon. And just hang out and have a beer.
Oh, that'll be cool.
And hey, make sure you tell your wife that we said Happy Mother's Day.
Yeah,
I certainly will, and Happy Mother's Day to everyone. To all the mothers out there this coming weekend.
Well, again, thanks so much for disrupting your evening, and we'll look forward to talking to you soon.
All right, fantastic. We'll see you guys on the water.
Hey, thanks again, AJ.
Thanks, AJ.
All right, see ya.
See ya.
Great conversation. A great unexpected conversation, and again. However you feel personally, about whatever sanctioning body or what have you, it's just, I think he said it best. If everybody could, if they had the ability to all work together, it would be the caliber of an AMSOIL Snowcross or a Monster Energy Supercross. but there's, it's too many people that want to be a big fish in a small pond.
And too much animosity between everyone.
Yeah,
Far too much.
some of that causes some good friction, but we'll get through it.
Yeah,
I mean,
we're not into the drama. No drama. No baby
shut
mama
up.
drama here, right?
No, I got plenty of baby mama drama.
I knew that was going to be his response.
You want some?
No,
I got-
no,
Oh,
I'm
no,
good.
no, we're good.
No, we're good. Thanks.
We're good.
Thanks.
I'm trying to work on some more baby mama drama.
Oh,
so.
jeez, I don't think you want to go down that highway, do
Uncle
you?
Jody and Uncle Kevin.
Oh boy! Oh boy! He's dropping the kid off for the weekend.
All three of them. Extra.
So I guess that's a wrap for tonight.
Hey,
Yep.
before we wrap up, I just wanted to say to you, kudos on the shooting range.
Oh, yeah.
I like what you did out there. Very, very nice.
Maybe we'll do some videos from the other direction.
Yes, but
And,
that would be pretty good.
Yeah, I think that would be cool.
Yeah, it would.
But yeah, we definitely that was pretty awesome.
That was a classic.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was
amazing.
hilarious.
Absolutely amazing.
I'm almost done out there.
Yeah,
I'm almost done.
What a lot of people don't know is all the components are in place. All we have to do is make one phone call, and there's a 40-foot hole dug. What I mean? So it's just it's unbelievable. So,
But yeah, we Jody actually finished all of the boats with oil changes
Yeah,
this weekend.
we got all that done.
Got all that done. So now we're 100% local Molly.
We're ready to go in the water.
Ready to rock.
Dying to go in the water.
Yeah, dying in the water. The cane will be done pretty soon. Thanks to Rex.
Dying to get in the water and dying to go use the new shooting range.
Yeah,
exactly.
And we just want to thank everybody for following us and sharing our page. Just being part of it.
Yeah,
a little quick
absolutely.
thing.
And like we said, great show coming up next week. Sam Nemi from Broward Motorsports.
Don't miss it.
We're gonna have some fun with that one.
Great, the whole Broward line coming out.
We were talking about before. I think we're gonna do a once we get our other situation figured
setup
out. We're gonna do a old school conversation. I want to get 5-6 people in the chat room, not in the chat room, but on a phone.
Yep.
And legitimately ball bust and just hear some of the old stories and see, what you guys got to say.
We'll go old school.
Just go old school in waste an hour.
This could get ugly.
And make it the R-rated version of the show.
Yeah, it is what it is. Anything goes. Ball bust into the wall. It's funnier than hell to hear the stories. So
I think that would be a great show.
We're gonna set something up, and like I said,
perfect.
get 4 to 6 people on.
Can we have drinks that night?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to get
So-
shout out to our friends at Budweiser. We haven't given them a shout out in a long time. Our friends at
No.
Budweiser, long-term friends of Watercraft Network, have supported us for years. They always contribute to our annual event, Jet Fest, and big partner with us in terms of our safe boating campaign up here and our Safe Waterways initiative. So shout out, thanks to Budweiser. Budweiser recommends that you enjoy the king of beers, but do it responsibly.
That's right.
And again, love going out to Watercraft Superstore, WSM Liquid Molly, Bomber. Gotta love the Bomber, and we'll be back next Wednesday with Sam Nemi, Broward Motorsports.
Sounds good. Good night.
We're out.